Good day, everybody at Security National Mortgage. Hey, we're going to start a new video for a training. It's what the Blue Crew's doing for these days. We're getting things going, and so the first one's going to be an FHA overview, just giving general things, and we're going to also show you some new things going on. We'll start right out right now with the Security National Mortgage Portal. This thing opened up January of 2017, so we've just fired it up. We're continuing to build it. I'd recommend that you go ahead and bookmark it on your web and use it all the time. It's going to direct you to all the resources that you're going to need. So without further ado, let's just jump into that. You'll log in. You get a new password every month from marketing, so it just changes based on the month. So it's Austin Mart MAR 2017. So we'll start with our departments. Every department's listed in this. You'll be able to review every department's who, what, and where's. For example, with the Blue Crew, you know where to get a hold of us and what we do. We assist with onboarding, Encompass House, product questions, and sales support. Conversely, the concierge department provides underwriting scenario support and income calculation support for loans prior to going into underwriting. So use them for their services. This is just a general view of all of our production heads, so if you need to find someone, they can help you out. The Loan Officer Support tab is going to be where you'll primarily go to. Hit the Resource tab. It'll bring up everything you're going to need. Video libraries, file libraries, digital flyers when you need for your marketing. It's all right there. So, be able to go and look at choose topics. But if you go into the concierge resources, that's where you'll find all of the credit policy, handbooks, seller guides, everything you'd need to look up loan guides. And really, you want to know your loan guides. If you get a new loan and it's something you're not familiar with, look them up. Make sure you're online. So starting off, you're going into the credit resources. You go into credit policy, you'll see that there's 13 sections. They're all broke down to just general information that you're going to need on each product guide. So if you look at the general underwriting guides, it's going to give you general terms, general descriptions, and then if you go into the underwriting guidelines, it's going to be more specific to overall general underwriting for borrower, mortgage, credit. It'll be all your general pieces. A lot of good information in there. When you don't know and you can't find it in the credit policy, look in there. If you go down to section 10 is state housing. That's going to be your DPAs, your reverse mortgages, some VA related stuff. But as we're going to just do a general overview of FHA, look at the FHA and products. Your FHA 640 and above is your general FHA. That's your bread and butter. Anything other than that, we'll be looking at new products, and we'll be doing the 500 to 580 no score next. This is your typical look at a credit policy. This it'll just show you all of the different facets of it. One thing that I want to note here is you look down at the bottom, you've got the product codes and pricing. You've got to make sure that you pick the right product. If you make a mistake, it can change your disclosures, it can change underwriting conditions, it can change who the FHA case number was. This is just a screenshot. I know it's semi-blurred, but it just shows you how many FHA products there are in there to pick from. Not that they're confusing to pick, but you just need to make sure you're picking the right one for your loan product, because it can cost you in the end and could potentially delay. Underwriting of FHA should be done through DU only, not LP. Within these guides, you'll find that there is all the specifics of what needs to be done to qualify the loan to be an AUS approved eligible loan. If there's a situation where you get a approved refer eligible, excuse me, it would then be dropped to a manual underwrite. Or if you have, for example, no scores, you'd be looking at different products and using non-traditional credit. There's a whole section on non-traditional credit in here, as well in the 44,000.1 guide, which is what's the FHA handbook now is called. It's the 4,000.1 is the new guide. So I will be putting onto the under the resources a whole section just on manual underwrite from FHA. It's just a memorandum that they published just recently, so we'll put it up there for review. Within FHA, one of the things that you'll find typically is that there's a reason that you're doing an FHA rather than a conventional loan. Oftentimes it has to do with items on a credit report, and we wanted to address those. So first would be your disputed accounts. Be sure to know your rules on these because it can affect you. So if it's greater than $1,000, it must be downgraded to a manual underwrite, excuse the tongue. That's in collections, charge-offs, and disputed trade lines within the last 24 months. So if they're disputing it, you're going to have to deal with it. If it's less than $1,000, you don't have to downgrade it. So that's FHA. So be sure to medical and identity theft are excluded as well. So judgments, they've got to be paid off before the loan is eligible. The exception would be if the borrower has made an arrangement with them and they've made 3 months worth of payments to them prior to credit approval. This guide holds true for non-purchasing spouses as well with regards to judgments. Collections, if the number is 2,000 rather than 1,000, so if they're less than 2,000, you don't have to deal with them. If they then you need to either pay them in full or make arrangements, and the payments will be included in the debt-to-income ratio. If they don't have a payment but they have an agreement, you're going to use 5% of the balance. And the payment of the cumulative does not remove the requirement. So if you paid it down lower than $2,000, it's still, because it was there originally, you're going to still have to deal with it. So trying to be sneaky and just pay down right below $2,000 isn't going to fix it, because they would seen when everything was done. Seasoning. We've seen a lot of different changes in the rulings, so we just wanted to post it one more time. You'll see that you also have the VA and conventional listed on this, but 1 year for a 13, 2 years for a 7. Bankruptcy 7 with surrender is 2/3 because you got a foreclosure in there. Foreclosures are just going to be whether it's a short sale, a deed in lieu of, or standard foreclosure. They're all going to be 3 years. So that's where they're sitting for FHA. Consumer counseling, it's the satisfactory payments, 1 year of those, and permission from the counseling agency to enter into a mortgage. Student loans, another hot topic. You want to make sure that you're following the guides for the type of mortgage you're doing. FHA is what we're listing here today, so it's the greater of 1% of the outstanding balance, the actual documented payment, or if the actual payment is less than 1% of the balance, you can use the lower if it's fully amortized over a term. So if they've established a loan agreement, you can use that if it's less. Going back to the concierge resources, we're going to jump into the FHA handbook. I want to just show you, it's just very easy to get to. You click on the button and you're right into it. Things you want to know is you can certainly search up at the top for items. It runs kind of like a PDF, so you can type in for a search. You can also download it on the right there, and you can have it on your system for times when you're not online and you need to look something up. The next section here is the frequently asked questions. That's the section that I prefer to use, It's 171 pages of valuable information. You can literally type into the system what you're looking for, and it'll immediately, as you're typing in, it'll go find appropriately what you're looking for. So example, I typed in disputed accounts, it immediately dropped me into the section that I was looking for. You use Control F, which is to find, and you'll have the information you need. Basically every piece of information a loan officer is going to need is going to be right back into that. So moving on to the next sections, I wanted to show you some work that we've been working on. We're continuing to build this section out. So if you go into, again, the resources section, you can loop to different spots, but you'll come into all of the different information numerous ways. But if you go down into the loan products information, what I've created is I've created all these loan matrices for you to look at for different types of loan products. If we just go to the FHA 640 and above, you'll see you can all the base information, the quick and down and dirty stuff that you'd need to know is right there. The top one where is listed as an Excel, if you download that Excel and enable it, you'll be able to use, all of them will be there. You can save it on your computer, and that link to guide, if you click that, it'll take you straight to the credit policy for that type of program. So you'll have not only the quick guide, but a quick link right to the policy if you needed to find a little more detailed question. But it's all right there for you. Each one of these is a little different because I built it out specifically for the loan program, but we wanted to make things easier for you and have access quicker and more at your fingertips to make quick decisions and get things done. So just a new tool in the resources for you. Jumping into Encompass, there's only a couple of things we really wanted to discuss. For the most part, it's simple filling out the FHA, filling it out the Encompass with FHA. There's not much of a difference. There's two things we want to point out. First is get MI. Now what you want to do is in your total monthly payment, be sure to check and click the pencil next to the mortgage insurance. Anytime you make a change, hit the Get On My button. Anytime you make any kind of thing, even right before you get ready to submit the loan to disclosures, hit that Get On My button, because if it's incorrect, you're going to be the one that's losing out on money, because we're never going to obviously charge the borrower for any incorrect information. So hit that Get On My button. Second is gifts with FHA. Gifts require that you put minimally into 3 spots for FHA. The first is the source of down payment. Be sure to select the appropriate one. In this case, we're using relative. Second, you go to the second page. In your VOD section, you'll click on it. It needs to be listed first in the lines and then your banks, and be sure that the amount's in there. Third is on the FHA 9200, which is the loan transmittal. There's a gift section. Be sure to fill it in, click the appropriate box, and put the amount in there. I'm rushing through it because it's pretty simple information, but back to our resources, you'll have a gift, how to input gifts for FHA on there, and we've developed this for you. It's a how-to. It'll show you the 3 steps for entering FHA gifts. It'll just be like what we just discussed, but it'll show you step by step how to input it. So if you're getting an error in your DU findings, it's not registering the gift amount. It's because it wasn't entered properly. If you have multiple gifts or down payments, you'll need to, which it shows here, go into FHA and edit the loan directly. So be sure to just look at this and follow the steps, and you won't have problems getting your DU approvals based on for errors. Now going back to the resource, I want to show you where that is. It's in resources, and you can drop down to choose a topic, and there's loan officer how-tos. And listed right at the top is inputting an FHA gift. Just by chance, it happened to be first. So you can see we're building this out as well. Different how-to videos or guides for that. So I appreciate your time. That's just a quick general overview for FHA. Thanks so much.